Hi guys, it's actually Mono. How's everyone doing? Good, I hope. I wanted to do the follow-up video to my recent 6 favourite rose designer perfumes by doing a niche one. I'm doing my top 10 niche rose fragrances that I absolutely love. Not all of these I own, but all of them I have worn, some of them I own, but nevertheless, all of them I'm familiar with and love, and most of them are on my wish list if I don't have them. Anyway, let's get started. So I'm starting with probably my most favourite one of this whole bunch. This fragrance has crept up on me a lot recently. I managed to add it to my collection, and I'm starting with probably the most expensive one. Sorry guys, it's not a cheap fragrance, and it's not the reason it's my favourite either. This one to me is totally stunning. It's Saffron Rose by Grossmith, one of the oldest English perfume houses that exist in England. They've been going since the 1800s, and they have made fragrances for royalty multiple times, or in honour of royalty at least. Really exquisite materials, real classic compositions, and this is one of their newer ones. I'm actually going to spray it on my hand because, oh wow, I love this. On skin, it blossoms amazingly. So it's saffron, it's rose, it's oud. There is also an animalic kind of feeling going on. It has castoreum in there. There's a leathery feeling, and to me, this just epitomizes elegance. It's kind of a little bit soapy as well. It's a real tough one to describe, but if you can ever get a sample of this or get your nose on this fragrance, Saffron Rose by Grossmith is up there as one of the most elegant, beautiful rose fragrances I've ever smelled. I'm not even sure what type of rose is in here, but the rose is not the most prominent note. It's called Saffron Rose, but this has that dry, exotic, weird kind of plasticky feeling that saffron gives sometimes, mingled in with so many beautiful other nuances that are hard to pinpoint, but it's in the video because it's my favourite of this bunch, and smell it if you can. Saffron Rose Grossmith. The next one will probably come as no surprise to anyone. It's Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle, or should I say Dominique Ropion. He's the guy that made this. This one's a staple in my collection. It pops up in a lot of videos, so I feel like a broken record, but it covers a lot of bases for me. It's rose, it's patchouli, it's kind of incensey, it's a little bit dirty, it's very dark. It's my nighttime gothic rose. It's my powerhouse when I want to feel like a badass bitch fragrance, and if you don't know this fragrance, you need to. I mean, there's a reason it gets a lot of praise. A lot of people I speak to at my work, customers that come into my shop, say that they're kind of tired of it now. They say they smell it everywhere. That doesn't bother me one tiny bit. I will always love this fragrance, and when I smell it on people, it just makes me love it even more. I think, yeah, you're wearing Portrait of a Lady. Well done you. But yeah, it's a super dry, woody rose. It's, like I said, it kind of feels a bit gothic to me. It projects like a crazy person. Somebody told me I smelled like an Arabian prince when I wore it. Oh no, wait, they said princess. This is a dark, heavy, dense, smoky, incensey rose that is one of the best, and it's my second favourite on the list. These aren't in any order, I just started with those two because I have the bottles to hand. So the next one on the list is another one that has crept up on me recently. They sell it where I work. I found myself reaching for and spraying it on myself quite a lot recently. I have reviewed it also. It's Odor Protection by Atelier d'Orange. This one features Bulgarian rose, and Bulgarian roses are by nature a little bit more metallic in the way they smell, and they have added a blood accord to it, which just ramps up that metallic intensity. It's a real punchy, super rose. This one is rose where you can really smell that it's a rose perfume, where the other ones it's a little bit more blended in with other things, but this one is rose straight away. It's got a kind of skankiness behind, but not too much. It's never unwearable. There's also black pepper in here. It's a really good one, and the trail that this one leaves is gorgeous. I had people commenting within my shop about it when I was wearing it, and I found myself wanting it more and more and more and more. In my review when I did it, I liked it, but as time has gone on, I've just learned to appreciate it more as a real solid rose fragrance. So, Protection Water. Odor Protection by Atelier d'Orange. The next one is probably the ugly duckling of this list, and it's Bull's Blood by imaginary authors. This one's the kind of wacky one. This is the unconventional one that I'm throwing on the list because I appreciate it for how daring it is. So this one comes with a story. This one's about a guy that lives in a dusky, sleepy town on the coast of Spain, and he's recalling memories of going to bullfights with his father. Later in life, he gets into a fight in a bar with some American sailors and ends up killing one of them by accident. So this one is the imagery of bullfights. So this features a Spanish rose, it features patchouli, it features really dark musks, tobacco as well, and then the clincher, or the crazy note in here, is costus root. Costus root smells like barnyard. It smells like farm, it smells like zoo, it smells like animals. So this perfume places rose amongst some crazy dark notes, and it's really challenging to wear, but it's got a big fan following amongst niche lovers, and I super appreciate it for being an awesome rose that is not necessarily always pretty and fluffy and sweet and powdery and, you know, garden and petals. This is rose just grrr. So I love it for that. The next one is another one that I own, but I forgot to get the bottle and it's a little bit too late now. It's Amouage Lyric for women, or Lyric Woman as they call it. Oh gosh, this one is exquisite. I think I gushed quite a bit in my review, I must say. Sorry about that if you watched it. This one's one of the smoothest rose fragrances I've smelled. It's powdery in a kind of almost waxy kind of way. It's almost gossamer in feeling. It's almost kind of blush. It's very, it's not a projector. It's almost like a skin scent, luxurious, creamy kind of rose fragrance that's also very hard to describe, but I love it. It's not that jammy rose. It's not an obvious petally type of garden rose. It's different. It's very well-rounded and smooth, and like I said, it's almost kind of waxy. Definitely smell that one if you can. Lyric by Amouage. One of the most exquisite roses I've smelled, but not as much as Saffron Rose by Grossmith. This one's the winner. The next one on my list is so high on my want list I can't even tell you, but I can't afford it right now. It is Volcano by Carna Barcelona. Oh. This is another fragrance that features Bulgarian rose. It also has Laotian ginger in it and a whole bunch of labdanum. One thing to note about Carna is they pride themselves on sourcing ingredients that aren't just run-of-the-mill. So if they have black pepper in their fragrance, it's not just going to be a common one. It will be, you know, Malabar black pepper. And in this one, for instance, ginger, it's from Laos in Southeast Asia. So their ingredients that they pick are very specific. They source out particular regions of ingredients. This one is stunning, it really is. It's kind of, the labdanum makes it feel very ambery and smooth. The Bulgarian rose is so stunning in there, I love it. It almost feels Middle Eastern, it almost feels a little bit oud-y, even though there's no oud in there. But it's a super smooth, but really super projecting Bulgarian rose labdanum, almost verging on kind of incensey feeling, balsamic kind of beautiful smoothness, and I love it. It's really expensive for what it is though, but you know, if you love a fragrance that much, save up for it. That's what I do. I will try my hardest to get Volcano. I love it. It's fiery, it's spicy, rose, labdanum gorgeousness. The next one is one of the strongest fragrances that I own. I was gifted a 10ml beautiful travel spray of this one. It's called Promise, and it's also by Frederic Malle. Dominique Ropion, once again, we have a perfume by Dominique Ropion. He is my favourite perfumer. I make no bones about it. This one's crazy, this one's super strong. It's rose with apple and tons of wood and cypriol. It's herbaceous. It's one of the most projecting things, like I said, that I have. It kind of sometimes wears me if I'm not careful. It's a nut job fragrance, but it's not an obvious rose. There's also apple in there. Some days I can really smell the apple, some days I can't. So rose apple, crazy herbaceousness, and then this huge whack of what I can only describe as Middle Eastern lady walking in front of you in the street. You know, those fragrances that just trail behind in this flowing wave. It's really, really strong and awesome. So test it out, and it's called Promise. Such a nice name. The one thing it does promise is that it's going to last about 48 hours when you wear it. The next one on the list is another imaginary author's fragrance. It's called Slow Explosions. I love this one. I like the theme of it. It's about a lady who gets a bit sick of her life and goes to a bar and throws a dart in a map, and it ends up landing on Goa in India, which is one of my most favourite places in the entire world. So she goes there, and it's about her travels there. This is a rose with saffron again. It's got apple as well. It's leathery. It's kind of dry, this one. The saffron really prevails in this one, so it's kind of like a dry, rosy type thing, and it's fruity. It's like a fruity rose saffron, basically, with leather. So it's a weird combination, and I love this one for the story, but I also love it to wear because it's just a little bit unusual. Saffron and rose goes well together. Obviously, it's on my hand. But throw in the apple thing as well. I'm seeing a kind of link here. Rose, apple as well in Promise. Perfumers know what they're doing, they really do. But this one's great, it's different, it's a little bit more unconventional, and that's why it's on the list. And I love the name, Slow Explosions. It conjures up images, but mainly it's the theme. I love the theme, and I love the way it smells on skin. So the second to last one on the list is Hatria by Angela Champagne. I have done a spotlight video on her entire line, or pretty much her entire line, because she's released a few new ones since I did it. And I put this one on the list because I am not a super fan of her fragrances as a whole. She has a very unique take on perfume making. She's from a tiny town called Atri on the Adriatic Sea, and she infuses kind of a mineral approach to her perfumes, and Hatria is named after Atri, the place where she lives. It's a Saffron Rose again with oud, but this one is such a hyper powdery bomb of rose and just craziness. It's not oudy. There's oud in there, and it's not really saffrony either. She favours sea salt. This is all about the powdery side of rose, and this one is a sillage monster. I actually smelled it on a person on the tube once, and I could smell it all through the tunnels when I was walking. I recognised it instantly. I sell it in my everyday job, so I know what it smells like. This one, if you like your roses powdery, is so strong and crazy. I've always said I love powdery fragrances that pack a punch, because powder is soft, but when a fragrance has powder, yet it's so strong, that always impresses me. So Hatria is definitely on my list. I love it, and the bottle is crazy too. So the very last one on the list is called, it's a little bit of a unicorn, I am sorry, but I like to be variety and give you guys food for thought. It's called Rose Red, and it's by Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab. This fragrance is the most realistic fragrance that I have smelled, that smells like if you took a bunch of roses and took a pair of scissors to them and chopped them up into a bowl and smelled it. That's what it smells like. It smells like stems, stalks, leaves, petals, buds, thorns, everything. It feels like you're wearing a rose bush on your skin. And although it's hard to find, I had to put it on my list because it is one of my niche roses that I absolutely adore. They release it at Christmas mainly, so you can maybe search it around Christmas time and see if they've got it again on their site. But this one had to go on my list, and I'm going to leave the list there. That is my top 10 niche rose fragrances. I hope you liked it, and I hope you guys have a great week. I'm Akshay Mano, trying to make the world smell rosy, one video at a time. Goodbye.